Hey Dito, do you know what time it is?
Oh, KT, I don't think this is the time of the day where we can find a tall midget.
Ugh. In this episode, Shaq shows up cheering for Kuroko, Nicolas Cage visits the world of Sword Art Online, and THNN covers the kickoff of Takafuji High Elections. All that more, plus a visitor, coming up. And the show begins in 3, 2, 1.
The beats.
It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Dito and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by Renan, your friendly ship avatar. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. I am Ktdata.
I'm Dito, and KT finally got his Renan.
Yes, I'm excited. And the funny thing is, not the only Renan I'm getting. This is the actual PVC one, but I'm going to get my plush one very shortly. So I think she's almost done with it. I think I might need to email her. So everybody, again, welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast, and this is the podcast where it's the book club of all of anime podcasts. So hopefully you guys did your homework. If you didn't, don't turn us off. Don't turn us off. Remember, you can always head on over to Kita or ktdata.net, not kita.net. Ktdata. I blame you for that, Dito. I blame totally 100% you. Ktdata.net. Show notes are right there, including the links to watch the episodes. If you're watching live, you can pause the live stream, which I don't suggest you do. But if you want to, you can always go over to our Facebook page where those links are already posted. So good stuff right there. But Dito, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. How are you doing?
It's probably a good thing you haven't seen me in 2 weeks because, yeah, that's really nothing else has been going on besides life events.
Life events. That means Dito's gonna get married soon, like everybody else I know.
No. No, I'm just finding family members come out of nowhere and saying, hey.
Dito, I really didn't want to tell you this, but really, I am your father.
That'd be a freaky thing because you're younger than me.
It's crazy how that time travel thing works, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, so let's get back to this podcast right here. So the three animes we are actually watching is Kuroko's Basketball, Sword Art Online, and Koi Choco, or the full name is Koi to Senko to Chocolade. I still love saying that.
Still get me every time.
So those are the animes, and well, let's just jump into episode 1 if I don't screw up the jingles.
Too late.
Let's try now.
And our first anime is Kuroko's Basketball, and it's brought to you by geniuses. Even they can get bored. So last episode, Saren beats Shutoku. We learned the rock, paper, scissors, batsu game, and Kuroko has a girlfriend? What?
Huh?
So we also left off with how do you say his name? Aome.
That's the best way to pronounce this Aome.
All right, Aome. Yeah, that's his name. Aome. He's pretty much the Michael Jordan of basketball, except the difference is that he's kind of gotten bored with the sport. We kind of see that first time apparently one of his teammates makes pretty good bentos. That was kind of odd, don't you think, Dito?
That was so random. He just comes up and just kind of like, ooh, bento, and he starts like helping himself
Bare hands too.
to it and just starts eating. Yeah, just don't.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so he's just eating those bentos, and Courting decided to pause for a second. So let's hope everyone's gonna go find this episode. Last time that happened.
The technical gods are with us today.
Yes, I made my tributes. The funny thing is they kind of were making a comparison to him because he's like, oh, I'm not gonna practice today. I'm just gonna skip out. The only reason he showed up was to get his nudie magazine.
Yeah. But
Okay.
when they were explaining like his talent and everything and stuff, I love how they refer to Tiger Woods and Shaquille O'Neal and how they call them monsters.
Tiger Woods is a monster. This podcast is not endorsed by Monster Energy Drink.
No.
But yeah, so they ended up calling him a monster. And the funny thing is, so we remember that Saren is now in the Champions League, where it's not tournament style anymore. It's X amount of games to kind of go into the playoffs and then play your way through that also. And guess what? Aomi's team, the what do they call it? The Toe Academy, is one of the teams they'll be playing. The funny thing is, this school, it's actually not. No, it's not. It's obviously not one of the king schools, you know. But somehow they got one of the Generation of Miracles, 2 technically, if you want to count the manager.
Yeah.
And what they say is that in the past years, they've kind of stepped up their recruiting and kind of got all the best players from around the world, from around Japan, not around the world, around Japan, to come and
That'd be weird.
play for them. Yeah, that would be weird. You'd see like Kevin Durant and the Kobe Bryant and stuff on the team.
Kobe Bryant now in high school for Japan.
Well,
That'd be weird.
did get drafted out of high school, so it could work.
We're gonna just take you to Japan and you're gonna play on this team that no one ever heard or that really don't know about. We're just gonna recruit the best players and throw them onto this, team for the championship league. Let's go do this. That's no big deal.
Why not? That would make a good anime, right?
Yeah, why not?
Especially considering the team doesn't exist in real life and Kobe does. But hey, yeah.
Hey.
And the funny thing is that when Saren ends up to their first practice, Rico just sees Kagami and is like, "What'd you do? What'd you do?"
Oh, that's the best part, just because it's like he just walks in, sorry, let's get to work and everything. And she just kind of like does that, like that mother that catches you like bare, like just completely red-handed and like cookie, like hands a cookie jar, just says like, "Hey, I know what you did."
Yeah, and she's like, "You played basketball, didn't you?" And she's like, "Idiot! Now go get the heating pad from the nurse's office. But since your legs are shot, you're not allowed to walk there. You got to walk on your hands." So we actually see a scene with Kagami. He's walking on his hands to the nurse's office. I'm like, "Oh, you just got owned by Rico. You don't mess with the coach." I'm just,
I think she's owned him, what now, times? This would be the 4th time?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, we could just make a whole show covering her owning him. Not even gonna lie. That's actually a
we
good idea.
could.
That might be a good idea.
Next time on Kita, we're going to be covering Kagami being owned by Rico. Anyways,
The Kagami Owning Podcast is brought to you by. We also find out who Saren gets to play in the first match, which they might not have Kagami play because he's still injured, and putting an injured player in is kind of dangerous because you could permanently hurt them and then screw yourself over just to win the one game when you need to win all the games. And guess who they're playing, Dito?
yep, they are playing in their first match, Toho Academy.
Ooh. So.
Because that's where Aomi is.
Yep, and the funny thing is that, remember, he's one of the Generation of Miracles, so Kuroko has some background information on him, and they kind of go into this, and it looks like when he first started playing, Aomi was like, he just loved the game. He's pretty average. His skills were, a little above average, because that's what happens when you play basketball all the time. It seemed to be that he loved the game, he loved everything about the game, he loved playing, he loved helping other players on there. But the problem came up when he actually started reaching his peak and his abilities started to excel. he kind of hit that peak way before the rest of the generation of miracles. And the interesting part is that he was so fast at it that he was leaps and bounds ahead of all the competition right there. And frankly, he just started getting bored playing
Yeah.
basketball.
That just happens when you excel at something so much that without a challenge, you just get bored, you know? There's not much you can do.
Yeah. So that's kind of his backstory, and that's why we always see him being kind of lazy and whatnot when it comes to basketball, even though he's such a great player. He comes to this conclusion that there's no better player than him, so the only person that can beat him is
Him?
himself. Okay.
That's-
I think he's a little full of it. I don't think he can
No,
beat.
no, it's not that. It's just that no one can beat him but himself. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like that. Just so I can see some Yuri on that. So or some Yaoi. Sorry, Yuri. Some Yaoi's gonna get their hands on that. And just go hog wild with that.
Tito, the yaoi sticks don't come until Kochoko. Because I got the yaoi sticks. So, but so that's who they're playing first. And the funny thing is, everybody at Saren, they're kind of pumping up for them because they're the underdogs. Let's not forget that in every single match Saren's going to be playing, is they're the underdogs. They're the brand new school. This is only their second year of having a basketball club, and now they're playing in the Champions League and everything. So it's going to be, a uphill battle for them most of the time. And you kind of see everybody just getting amped up for it. And my favorite thing was I noticed, I don't know why I didn't notice this until now, but Kuroko and number 2, remember the puppy dog? Puppy dog?
Yeah.
They wear my number. That's actually my basketball number, 11. I got excited. And if you guys don't believe me, I have a jersey in my room downstairs with my number on it. So I'm not lying.
Then there's the one with Itsuka, or not. God, I want to say Itsuka for some reason, but his the one that cracks all the jokes. Like his mom did it too. Did you notice that? You really love that thing, don't you?
So I don't know what you're talking about, Tito.
Video podcast, please. Watch it. You'll see what KT's doing.
So now I really want to do Kuroko cosplay too. Thinking about it, and it wouldn't be that hard considering there's going to be a lot of number 11 Saren jerseys out there. But then I'd have to get a number 2 plushie with the jersey on it.
That wouldn't be so hard.
Hmm.
You always get your real dog. Bring a little Alaskan Husky down there and just walking it around, and I'm pretty sure you'll get pictures up the wazoo.
I'm not gonna get a real dog.
Why not?
But if any of you guys are seamstresses, or what's the male version of seamstress?
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. If you guys sew and want a commission, let
A
me know.
seamist?
Ktdata.net. So when they actually show up for the game, Ayome, he's not even there, and they call him like, "Where are you?" It's like, I'll be there sometime around the second quarter. You guys are good for now," and they're like, ugh. And then the team, which is, I had their name down somewhere.
Toho?
Toho, yeah, Toho. It's because their jerseys say
It's all over the place.
Well,
it's all over the place.
It's because their jerseys say Goten or something, Goken, on it instead of Toho. Have you noticed that?
I didn't notice that actually.
So Toho's written in Japanese, but the English they have an English wording on it. It starts with a G under there. So that's why I keep on saying that instead of Toho. That's why I keep thinking it's that instead of the Toho. But they're like, "Oh, he's coming, but we're the opening act." And, of course, everybody has on Saren. It's like, all right, so since he's not going to be here for the beginning, what we're going to have to do is score as many points possible before he shows up. And what they find out on the first tip is that Toho, they may have a Generations of Miracle player on there, but they're not chump change. They're They're all quick, they're all fast, but they have one unique kind of style of play is that it's all one-on-one basketball. So everybody's their. It's not really a team-based basketball. It's kind of what the Generation Miracles ended up being, and that's why Kuroko kind of left the team. So each player, they get the ball, they go and score with it. They don't really pass the ball that much, and they're actually kind of widening the gap because off the bat, Saren is behind and has to catch up on it, which actually turns out to be a interesting thing. But the funny thing is that we finally see Kuroko starting to play right there. The one drawback is when Kuroko actually gets the ball and he kind of passes it across the court right there. For some reason, he tried to intercept the ball, which makes no sense whatsoever. And then Kagami saves him, and he jumps like super high. And the funny thing is, somebody on Toho's team, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "What nationality are you?" And I'm like, "What? Seriously?"
I was hoping you would catch that.
It's like, what nationality? Is that the first thing you ask? Like, do you really need to ask when the guy is like 6'5" and has bright red hair?
Pretty much.
But we also find out as Saren, they're trying to get their team basketball on. Toho has another ace up their sleeve, and what is it, Dito?
Oh yeah, that's right. They also have their coach, which is also the same coach from the Generation Miracles. Was it Momi? Sorry, Momomi.
Momi, which apparently is Kuroko's girlfriend, even though nobody let Kuroko know about this.
Well, mostly it's like she is Kuroko's self-proclaimed girlfriend, where Kuroko doesn't really. It just says, eh.
Well, pushover Kuroko is. He's just like, whatever. The funny part about this is that Kisei, he shows up. Of course he's late. He's like, oh, man, I'm late. But, that's what happens when you're a fashion model. You got to be fashionably late. And he sees somebody in the back row of the bleachers. And who would it be, Dito?
Oh, it's our good old friend, Midorama. And the best part is, too, he has these shades on. Like, you could totally tell it's him, and Kisei just goes up to him and is like, hey, I thought you're not going to come. And he just kind of looks at him. He's like, oh.
He's like, I was in the neighborhood. It's like, you don't live
all the way across town, dude. That's the best part, too. It's just like, dude, you're across town. Yeah. How would you in this neighborhood?
And the funny thing is Kisei mentions to Midorima that Momo, I'm gonna call him Momomi, has a crush on Kuroko, and he's like, what?
No, he's just like, really?
Yeah.
It's just like, what, you didn't know?
And like Kisei's like, seriously? Did you not notice? Like, after practice, she's always with him. She's always trying to walk home with him and everything. Like, how did you not notice this? And Midorima's like, huh?
Yes, but don't take her cute looks and everything for granted itself. She actually has a really unique ability to analyze stuff, like get all the information about people and just completely predict exactly what they can do and what they have done too.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of similar to Rika's ability, except more on a book smarts level. Than she's kind of more of the war general book smarts, not more because Riko she has this ability to look at it, but she also kind of uses her experience and intuition on top of that. While Momomi, I'm never gonna say her name right, am I? Momomi. She's more a cold analytical type thing, and she can actually predict how you're going to react to a situation and how to kind of counter that. So the whole team kind of has a one-up on all the seniors or on the second years because they've already been playing for a year, so there's all this data to back it up. While the rookies, which is Kuroko and Kagami, they're relatively new, so they don't have that much information. Even though that Momomi was on the Generation of Miracles, she has the hardest time reading what Kuroko's going to do. And she mentions, like, he's the one that she just can't figure it out.
It's because, since his, like, lack of presence and everything is probably the reason why she just can't read him. And, again, that's why she's like, that's the reason why she loves him. I'm like, so you can't read somebody.
Mystery! Secret Agent Kuroko.
Kuroko James Bond, let's go.
He would make the most awesome spy, if you think about it. If nobody ever notices him walking around, think about it. It's a walk in the park for him.
There you go, guys. Kuroko's double agent. Let's get to this anime.
Next time on Jorgaman Season 2, a new member arrives, Kuroko. But no one ever notices. So what happens, though, is Kagami, he actually, he's still playing, and he dunks it over two guys. Like, he does where both of them are going up, trying to block him, and he's still going up while they're already going down, and he dunks it on them. But all of a sudden, Rico notices something, like his legs, because let's be honest, Kagami's not fully healed, but he says he's fully healed. He's lying to himself. And Rico notices that and just, like, pulls him out almost immediately.
Not just Rico. The coach from Toho notices it, too. Like knows it right off, too. It's like, you're young and you're pushing yourself.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to injure yourself. Because what you don't understand is, like, your muscles got to rebuild. And if you're when they're super injured like that, it's not going to be good for you. You're pretty much asking to just make your legs go to mush at that point.
Yeah.
But so Rico pulls him in, and she's like, "You're not fully healed, are you?" And he's like, I'm okay. And she's like, "No, you're not. Let me at least tape your feet up." And then Rico starts mumbling to herself about this, like, what we call team play basketball is not really team play. It's a method that somebody taught me, and out the potential of everybody on the team. But she's not strong enough to do that, and now she has to rely on Kagami to do it. And what I'm curious about is, what is the style that she's teaching, and who taught it to her?
I have this feeling that it'd be something similar to, like, an acquaintance with her dad. I just have this feeling it's something about that.
It's going to be like Michael Jordan.
Watch it will be.
Larry Bird, or...
No, it's going to be Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Or what I would love is if they, like, put a hat tip to the enemies, like Slam Dunk, and it's just like Sakuragi Hanamichi when he's old or something.
That'd be weird. That'd be actually pretty awesome to throw that kind of, like, crossover in it.
Yeah, but that's actually how they kind of ending this, because they have this long conversation with each other, and they kind of both know the risk that's happening right now, that Kagami's going back out on the floor injured to play, but it's the only way they're going to win this game. And right before Kagami checks in, guess who decides to show up?
Aomi just kind of, like, buddies up with him and is like, yo.
Yeah, and so we're with 1 minute left in the second quarter. Remember, there's 4 quarters in a basketball game. And Toho's up 10 points. And Aomi is like, oh, I'll just come in the second half. The coach is like, no, you're playing for the last minute. And then the episode ends. I'm like...
Yeah, no, here we go. It's like, the show was, like, obviously there wasn't really much going on. There's a lot of story building and everything. There's not much basketball playing just yet. But, within that, like, the first 2 quarters, you just were, like, really wanting to see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, it's like their star player comes in, and the other team is still ahead. But I did notice something really interesting, KT.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Generation Miracles names are referring after the colors. I just noticed this. Like Aomi, like Ao is blue. Midori.
Let me guess. That's green.
Huh?
Let me guess. That's green.
Yep.
And then Kisei is
Kuroko's black, but he's a shadow. And I'm trying to think of Kisei because
blonde,
I can't remember, like, huh?
Blonde or white? I'm
wild guesses. He's blonde, but Shiroi is white. But it's I can't remember what yellow was because I'm still learning my colors. But
if you guys know, Keytie, Ktdata.net.
I know it's just I can't say that because it's a really weird one, like brown. Like those are two colors I can't say without screwing it up.
All right, so that's all we have for Kuroko and I. Like I said, there's a lot of character building in here, so there's not too much basketball. Well, there's basketball going on, but it's kind of in the background of everything.
Yeah. These 2 episodes is really key for story building, though.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you haven't watched it, do check it out. It's awesome,
All right.
and it'll pump you up for next episode of Kita.
Yes. And then speaking of story building, let me do this and go on to our next anime in 1 second. That.
There we go.
And our next anime is Sword Art Online, and it's brought to you by
Big pine trees, because you never know when the hobo Santa comes.
So last episode, what happens, Vito?
We see 1,000 people get hijacked into an MMO and forced to play,
Oh,
where
no.
if you die in the game, you die in real life. We also see that making parties is actually really hard to do, and wearing black makes you a badass.
That's why we're both wearing black right now.
Yes.
So what's funny is that time is not linear in this. It doesn't seem like it's going at the same rate as we're watching the episodes. They kind of skip around, and we find Kirito. He's actually kind of progressed on to some of the higher levels of the game, and he meets this guild called the Black Cats, and apparently saved them their butts from some monsters right there. What's interesting though is from the sounds of he's been just doing solo missions now, so he hasn't been going with a party or going with a guild or anything. It's just been him most of the time this far, and they ask him what level he is, and this is the most. I thought this was kind of interesting. What level do you think he said he was, Tito?
Well, he's just kind of hesitant to react and everything, just kind of like 20s. And he's like, and then the guild's just like, oh, great, cool, because we're all in our 20s too. But if you see his window, it says, bar says level 40.
Yeah. And apparently in this game, even after you join guilds, you can spoof your level or something, because that's what I thought was weird was they asked him to join the guild, and they because these guys are just like computer club buddies that decided to get this game, and like he agrees, but usually in a guild system, wasn't it before when he made a party, everybody could see their levels?
No, just their names. Like no one can see each other's levels. That's why everyone has to ask.
So that's kind of an interesting thing, and the one thing is there's a member of their guild they have is Sachi, and she's the only girl in the guild, first off. And they were thinking of switching her to more of a tank type position, which I thought was kind of weird.
Well, she's originally defender right now, so she holds a giant shield and she's just meant to take the attacks and everything. So they're trying to switch her to a KT.
What? That was my shield.
A Renon shield. But they want her to try to support the forwards, like all the DPSs or the the tanks or whatever, so that they can better efficientize their guild.
Yeah. I kind of find it weird they call it a guild even though there's like 6 of them. I usually imagine guilds like 10 or bigger, but hey, whatever. Every game has their own terminology, right?
Yeah. My link shell in my game is we're only 5.
Yeah. So Kirito's kind of there, and the most interesting thing about this is that Kirito, he's like going along, even though he's double everybody else's level, and you kind of see this no matter who's with, he's kind of helping boost their experience points as he goes along. Here's a good one. The leader, Tetsuo! He actually gains a level in one of the cutscenes we see, and it goes from 22 to 23 as they were killing things. And the weird thing is that apparently in this MMO you can get newspapers delivered to you.
Yeah, yeah, and that is the weirdest thing too. I'm like, I want to play an MMO where you actually get newspapers like this. Even if it's just a virtual world and everything, you would assume that's like going interesting. It's like you actually have like a physical paper, not really physical, but you actually can hold a paper and read it. And it's like, this is not.
Yeah.
This is just. I would love to see this in MMO, like a real MMO. If it ever comes out, this would be an awesome one to play.
You actually want to know something funny about real paper? So, one of my friends at work, his wife has a Kindle, and she reads constantly on it. And one day she was actually reading a paperback book, and he says he's just sitting there, and all of a sudden she just bursts out laughing. He's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I actually just tried to do this on a paper book, and just swipe the page."
Oh, technology! You're gonna love it.
That's hilarious. So this is weird that this guild, they get enough coal, right? Is that what they call it? Coal, the
Yeah,
cash.
Cole.
Yeah, the in-game cash for Sword Art Online. They have enough to buy a house, which I thought was kind of weird, because I thought the whole point of the game was to progress through each level. So it kind of doesn't make sense to buy a house, but I guess they're buying a house.
Yeah.
So the leader, he goes off to go buy the house, and then everybody else is like, let's go farm some coal right now." And
So we can buy furniture and just furnishings. Sorry, furnishings for the
yeah,
house. And
kind of make it more cozy and at home. What
yeah,
it may
so
be.
at this point, so they're level, so they get the idea that let's go to one of the higher levels. So as they go, you know, as they go up to the higher levels and everything, they come across one of their hidden walls. Where what do they find, KT?
So they find a secret room, and of course it's a chest. And when you're playing these games, or at least when you're playing with me, I'm like, "Ooh, loot, loot, loot! Let's go
Ooh,
open it.
piece of
Let's
candy.
go open it."
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, but what turns out to be loot turns out also to be what, Tito?
A trap. It's a
It's a
trap.
trap.
General Akbar,
Yeah.
enter here.
So what
I'm
happened?
so
So
sorry.
yeah, and then all these mobs start kind of coming in, and they're all kind of more high powered. So, of course, Kirito's holding his own because he's like level 48 by now. While he's
Yeah.
leveled up, so he's doing that. And the funny thing is, which finds is weird is that before they go there, we kind of have this cutscene, and how Kirito gets to level 48 is he goes hunting at night while everybody else is supposedly sleeping, and he runs into an old friend too while he's out there. Who do you think he runs into, Dito?
Oh, what was his name again?
I'll,
Kis, not
I'll
Kisei. Yeah, we run into Kisei, the Germination
say,
Miracles.
I'll give you a hint. Row 57 on the spreadsheet. That probably didn't help you, did it?
No, it did. Klein.
Yeah,
I wrote these notes, everybody.
and so what happens is that Klein, I really didn't think he'd make it, to be honest. I thought he was just one of those one-off characters that you kind of, once you see it, you never see him again type characters. But it looks like he's doing pretty well, with his party or his guild right now, and they're making his way through. And all of a sudden, Kirito gets a message saying that Sachi, the person that they kind of wanted to get more on a one-handed swordsman type thing,
Make
kind
him
of,
more a front or a forward.
yeah,
They wanted to
forward.
try to put it as a forward.
She kind of ran off, and they couldn't find him. So Kirito, he kind of goes after her, and he finds out that she's hiding in some underground or a bridge or something like that, some kind of irrigation unit, and she kind of is like breaking.
Unit.
Yeah, she's kind of breaking down, and she's like, "I don't want to die" or something, and then Kirito, he's like, "You won't. I'll protect you and stuff." And I was thinking right here, maybe I've watched too much anime or something. I literally said outside, he's making promises you probably can't keep.
I was like, you've seen too much anime when.
Yeah, just like how I described the Koi Choco opening without seeing it.
Exactly.
um, so it turns out that so he promises that, and she seems a little more confident. What I thought was weird was when they make it back to their hotel or where they're staying, she comes into his room and he's like, I can't sleep, and they end up sharing a bed, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, it's a little
yeah, this
awkward.
is where it gets really. Yeah, this gets interesting too because you're talking about a virtual MMO, and it's almost like identical to reality in a sense because the way that they have the whole thing is set up to like you can sleep in beds, you can physically touch stuff, move things around, all this stuff, but it's still an MMO environment, but it's almost like reality. It's weird, creepy, and cool at the same time.
Yeah, um, and then so as we go back to the trap room right there, um, they're getting decimated because their levels are not high enough to kind of fight off these overwhelming odds right here. And like you start seeing members getting killed because they're just getting overrun. Um, and then the last person left is Sachi and Kirito, and Kirito sees Sachi's starting to struggle, so he runs after her. But one of the guys totally like gets her in the back, and then she says something, but Kirito can't tell what she says. And after that, she just kind of crystallizes and disappears right there. Um, and actually, that's actually how that's not how the episode ends. But it actually after that it cuts to a in the future, and apparently it's Christmas time.
Yes.
Um, I'm like,
Like it's December 24th.
yeah,
It's Christmas Eve, essentially.
and I'm sitting there, I'm like, seriously, it's August. Why do you have a Christmas episode already? It's August.
Yes. But we also do find out later on that, because of this whole event, Kirito is like seriously just kind of like hit that whole he blames himself type stuff that he got people killed. Like he literally just killed people. So that shows a part of the show or a part of the past where he was reflecting on it, where the leader is has the keys to the house and everything, tells what's happened, and he's just like a beater like you should never been in the guild and everything, and he gets on top like the railing off this cliff and everything, and just dives off of it. And, no, suicides himself because just couldn't take it.
Yeah. So, and then remember, if you die in the game, you die in real life. So, yeah, that's nuts right there. And so we find out that when he's at Christmas level, he's totally almost doubled his XP. Now he's at level 70, and he's done it all soloing. Like he doesn't get help from anybody anymore. And like he has this informant, and she's like, "You've been leveling up." Um, and she's like, "Do you have any information?" And she's like, "No, because this is the first event that never happened in the beta. I don't have much information for you right now. Nothing that I can give money for or anything." And it
But they do have a name. What
yeah.
is the name, KT? I know you want to say it.
I don't remember right now. Where is it? Um,
I'll give you a hint. Rose 63.
uh, crap! I already scrolled past. Okay, so according to rumors, that there's supposed to be a huge boss that shows up on Christmas Eve, and his name is Nicolas Cage, or Nicholas of Renegade. Um, and he shows up only on Christmas Eve, and supposedly he has a rare item that will allow you to revive a player, which is super rare because in this game, once you die, you die. There's no way to revive yourself. You don't respawn. You're just gone. So it's kind of highly sought after, but everybody says he's probably going to be super powerful on there. So, you know, you see Kirito, he's kind of wandering off to find this fir tree where it's going to appear, and he's going to go and try and solo it. And Klein shows up behind him, like, dude, there's no way you can beat this guy unless you use a party or something. Like, there's no way you can stand up to him. And he's like, I have to do this alone. And what happens right then is apparently not only Klein was following Kirito, somebody was following. Yeah.
It was the Divine Dragon Knights that are notorious. That was actually the frontliners that the Black Cats are trying to get into, the Guild of the Frontliners. But they are kind of like the whole like corrupt system itself, where they only want to better themselves and everything itself, trying to get better than everybody, just to like lead the entire MMO or the entire game, so to speak. And they do anything to do it. So they would quite literally
If
probably
you're
peek somebody,
yeah.
play or kill somebody to get the item.
Yeah, if you're in the way, they don't have any qualms about taking care of you. So what happens is Klein's group, they're like, "You, all right, Kirito, you go, and we'll hold these guys off right here." And I'm like, "Holy crap, they're probably
By the
outnumbered."
way, it is like I think 8 to 20.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 players to 20 other players that is a part of an elite guild,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So like, even though the funny thing is, if you notice how they're drawn, they're kind of just like lazily drawn compared to everybody else in the anime.
They are
Somebody ran out of budget for this.
just a little.
Yeah. So Kirito, he goes and fights off Nicolas Cage on there, but yeah, this is the interesting thing is I thought we'd see a lot more battles and stuff and epic battles on there, but you could pretty much see him running up after the boss, and that's pretty much it after until we where they're just tired, and then Kirito shows up with the rare item. Like you'd think there would be more than that, but no, it was like maybe 30 seconds at most of seeing that fight.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and then this is one thing that I kind of think they glazed over a little bit, but Klein's group totally took out the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah, all they're just kind of resting there self, but none of them were dead. None of
Yeah.
them were really injured. They're like, okay, let's take a breather.
Yeah, and I honestly think this is gonna come into play later on because remember when Klein first started, he was a total noob. He had no idea what he was doing, and apparently they can fend off like 20 guys right there. So, kind of put that in the back of your mind for later.
Yeah. But the rare item, we must get onto that one
Yes.
because it is a revival item, but there is one stipulation for it. You can only revive somebody that's only been up to 10 seconds.
So they have to still be kind of glowing. You kind of saw it with when they beat the first level and the leader of the group that was leading him. Kind of, you still had a chance to talk to him before he disappeared. So it's not gonna work to bring Sachi back. And Kirito just like gives it to Klein's like, the next person you see die, use this on them, and then he just like walks away. So we cut. Kirito's kind of like at his desk moping, and all of a sudden he gets a gift from Sachi, who obviously is not alive right now.
Eerie.
And I'm like, ooh, maybe she's alive or there's a glitch in the system that's gonna make her come back. But it turns out it's a pre-recording from Sachi to him as a Christmas gift, and it's kind of it kind of made me, my eyes tear up, or my allergies was just acting up. I think it was just the allergies acting up.
It was the allergies.
Yeah.
It was the
So,
allergies.
it's bad summer, grass pollen and everything.
Utah weather.
Yeah,
Utah weather.
yeah, and my contacts were drying out and everything. But it's kind of a heartfelt message saying thanks. You kind of gave me the courage to go on and everything. And the final words, because Dito likes final words. What's the final words, Dito?
Her last words that Kirito wanted to know what she said at those final moments of her existence was, "Thank you and farewell."
Aw. Oh man, those allergies are getting
Yeah.
me again.
And this is
moving
actually
on.
just one episode. This is what we just talked about. Just one episode. I mean, that's a lot to do in one episode.
They are packing these into these episodes right there.
Yes, they are.
And so to the next episode, we get Silica. That's a creative name. who's kind of reminds me. She looks like a character that would show up in Choco instead of Sword Art. She's kind of like shorter, the cute little tiny sister thing, and she has this little animal that's not Fuku. Oh, Fuku.
It is Fuku. Animal abuse. Animal abuse.
But it's this kind of little green dragon, and it reminds me of one of the characters
That was
in
blue.
or blue, yeah, bluish green
Eh,
dragon.
turquoise.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of one of the characters in Castle Crashers that kind of revives your health, while you're playing. That's what it actually does, and it turns out that whatever group she was in, she kind of disagreed with the loot distribution they had going, so she kind of left off, and she goes on into the forest by herself, being sort of a little underleveled because she's a new player. It's her.
But we must also state too that in a lot of the stuff they have healing items, and healing items are pretty much worth their weight in gold because
That dying
if
thing.
you lose your HP, there is very little you can do to get it back. So, that's what their dispute was over is the HP recovery items.
Yeah. So what happens is she kind of gets stuck by these giant beasts that are
They're
way
like monkeys.
Yeah.
They're giant apes basically is
giant
what I could
apes.
describe them as.
That they're overpowered, and there's three of them, and one tries to go for the final blow that would actually kill her, and her dragon, which her name is Pina, kind of takes the blow for her, and she gets injured and kind of dies right there. But luckily, right before the apes were gonna take her out, Kirito catches them and like totally demolishes them, and she just sees Silica just there bawling out. And luckily, though, there's an item left over from her pet, and it just happens to be a feather, which turns out to be Pina's heart. And Kirito says, like, there's a chance we can revive them if we go to the 47th floor, and there's an area called the Hill of Memories that will get this item that will allow us to revive her. The caveat is, because Silica's like, all right, so I'll just, get my XP up, train up, and then go over there. And he's like, well, the caveat is that it takes, you have 3 days to revive your pet or they're lost forever. And I would also do it for you and just charge you a fee, but the pet owner has to be there for the item to appear. So essentially, she has to go through this. But he's like, lucky for you, I'm headed that way anyways, so I can help you out with this. And this is the most peculiar thing. She asks him, why are you helping me? It's like, you're not taking any of my money, you're not taking any of these items, you're giving me items to help me get through. Why are you helping me? And what do you think his answer is, Dito?
Because you remind me of my little sister.
Which also doesn't turn out to be his little sister, because his little sister really is his cousin.
But they grew up with each other. Yeah, they grew up with each other since they're young, so that she probably doesn't know. This backstory takes place where you learn that Kirito's dad sent both of them to kendo school. He quit. He got scolded and beaten a bit. His sister took the reins of it to do the work for both of them. She goes to nationals. He feels inferior, and now he kind of like uses the Silica as an atonement for like being like such a I guess worthless person, and he thinks he's in his sister's eyes.
Yeah, Kirito's a softie.
There.
He's such a softie. Like
He's such a softie.
He acts all, I'm gonna do everything by myself and blah blah. But he's just really a softie.
I'm the black swordsman, ha ha ha. But I'm a softie for anyone that looks like my sister.
I had to laugh when he called himself
I
the black
know.
swordsman. It's just a flesh. I'm sorry, but that's what came to my mind when he said black swordsman.
Yeah. But so they're in town now, trying to go through and try to find an inn so they can spend the night there and try to get started in the 47th floor. While they're walking around town, like Silica's, it's like kind of an idol, like everyone knows her as the Beast Tamer, the Dragon Beast Tamer, and it's got her head pretty full about it because like that dragon could heal her and stuff. But Rosala, which was the woman that she was disputing about healing items in her last party that she left from, kind of like pushes her weight around on Silica a bit. Kirito just pops in there, just like she'll do it, and just ignores everything she says, just like let's go, and just like shrugs her off,
Yeah.
like it's nothing.
And then, so in this episode, they also introduced a new concept, a reputation kind of rating system. So if you have a green triangle over your head, you're a good citizen. You're following the rules. You're not doing anything bad. If you commit a crime, it goes orange. So if you're stealing from people or you're looting, you're kind of going beyond what the game was meant to. And then if you turn red, you've done the Lord Voldemort thing and just totally killed people.
Yeah, like it's called a PKing, player killing, and as you know, if you kill someone in the game, you kill someone in real life. So when you see that red icon above their head, you know to stay away from them.
Yeah, they're pretty dangerous, and
or take them on, one of the two.
And then so I don't understand why they put this in, but apparently even in Sword Art Online, the most serious anime we have at the Kita Anime Podcast currently, they decide to put in fan service. And it worries me,
Yes.
Tito. You want to know why it worries me? Because we might not get a beach episode if they do this right now.
No, it'll be hot springs. Remember, it's either beach or hot springs.
I need a beach episode, right? But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the episode. I'm not even going to say. But so while they're talking, Kirito's kind of laying out the plan and stuff, he notices that somebody was trying to eavesdrop on them. But they got away before he could catch them. And
so apparently, if you the only way you hear something inside a room in this game is if you knock. Then they can hear, or they can tell you, and they can hear you through the door. But if you level your hearing, your listening skill up high enough, you can just go bypass that.
Yeah.
But it's a skill that not many people will level.
Yeah, because you're always trying to usually you're trying to level the normal skills like your attack, your defense. There's no magic in this, but they probably have some specialized skills for each class type thing, and listening is usually not a high level class that you want.
Not much of an ability that you would spend a lot of time trying to level.
But apparently there's some people who do that. And so finally the next day, they make it into the floor 47. And I swear, this entire level is just what Super Mario World would look like in an MMO.
Yeah, pretty much. It's called Flora, like level 47 Flora, but it's also known as a flower garden. Like the whole level is flowers.
Yeah. And even the monsters look like it's a tribute to Super Mario Brothers, if you think about it.
Yeah, because we encounter one of the the plants, the like chomper, not chompers, the fireball plants.
Yeah, chomper. We see a chomper. We see
chomper's the ball and chain one.
Or one of the what are the fire plants called now? I don't remember. But yeah,
everyone knows this, please send it to Kita Anime Podcast.
But like,
we need to know
most of them pop up from the ground, and the funny thing is that again we see Kirito going along. He's like helping, but still he's letting the easier mobs. He's letting Silica kill him, which is also making her level at the same time. So I think this is a kind of a common theme is. Even though he's going along his journey, trying to stay as solo as possible, he's still helping all these people level up along the way because you need to level up to progress through the game. Well, I bet you there's probably people still at the beginner's village, but he's trying to get as many people to get through this game so they can get out.
Yeah.
So they make it through and they finally get the flower, and
which. Like the flower, right? Okay, the pluma flower is the rare item that allows you to revive a lost pet.
Mm-hmm. So they get that, and Kirito's like, "There's a lot of dangerous mobs here, so we should revive them once we get back to the inn." He's like, okay. So they kind of head back, and guess who shows up again?
As they're about to get over the bridge and everything, Kirito stops Celica and just like shouts out there, "Who's there? I know you're there. Come out." And Rosala, sorry, comes out and explains that she just wants the plant. And then Kirito kind of confronts him and says, like, "I've been actually looking for you because she's a part of the Orange Guild known as Titan's Hand because of back in like he's basically just tracked her down from this other guild called the Seven Flag or the Silver Flag, sorry. And of the 5 members, the leader is the only surviving member of this time when they were with them, just asking for somebody to not kill him, but take him to jail."
Yeah, so he kind of wanted justice to be served on them. And Kirito, him being the softie, let's be honest now, he tries to act like the tough guy, but he's really a softie. He comes in and he just, goes and helps him. And he has a crystal, too, that will teleport all of them together. But how many? There's like 6 of them or something. And they all surround him.
There's 8. There's 8 total, yeah. But 7 attack.
Yeah, so 7 of them attack him. And this is a peculiar thing. He's not even attacking, and they're slashing at him and everything. And Cecilia, she notices that his health meter, it's like not even moving. And
well, you see his like bar slowly going down, and then she notices something really interesting that it just goes back to full.
Yeah, it barely goes down like a notch. And he's like, so all 7 of you are only causing 400 damage on me, but my special ability, along with my 14,500 HP, allows me to regain
battle healing. It's called battle healing for 600 HP every 10 seconds. So he can stand there all day, and you guys, no one could kill him.
Yeah,
like it's just like going, there's kind of a badass type of motto there. It's like, I can stand here all day, you couldn't kill me.
And he's like, all right, so all of you are gonna go to jail now. But Rosalia, she's like, you can't make me go. You're not man enough to kill me. And he comes up with his sword right up to her neck, and is like, I think I can be okay being orange for a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm a solo player. Being an orange player for 1 to 2 days is no meaning to me. I'm just like going, jeez.
Yeah.
You see Kirito take like a whole different outlook on, or a 180 on his normal appearance and everything.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this anime is it's just so different than what I expected. I expected more kind of like the dot hack thing where you start out with more bubbly things, but no, it goes hard hitting, and then you have Kirito, which is such a confusing character, where he just transforms between each episode so drastically. It's kind of crazy. And then we kind of end off the episode where they're back at the hotel, and Cecilia revives Pina, and then everything goes all glowy, and she's like, oh, look at me, I had an older brother for a day. And that was the end of the episode.
Yeah, and this series, I swear, it's gonna be the next series where people are just gonna, like, once they get into, they're gonna like get into. Yes. Especially if you played MMOs. And I just want to bring up too, we did get people in our chat saying that it's piranha plants. So yeah.
Yes, piranha plants. See, this is what you get when you're in live. You can correct us and make us sound like idiots.
Yes.
If we needed help.
Please do.
But Dito, let's get serious. You got your news reporter hat on?
No.
Anyways, let's head into the THNN newsroom. And THNN is brought to you by Triple C Coffee, clear and classic. Get it in the nearest vending machine near you. So, finally, Dito, here we are at THNN, and it's an exciting day because we finally have started the high school elections for student council presidents. We are here to keep you up to date with the newest news from Takafuji High School. So, for all you incoming first years, you may not be familiar with the campaign election progress. So, Dito here has a special report for you to kind of explain what's going to go on in the next few weeks at Takafuji High School. Dito, take it away.
Thank you, KT. So here we are, the breakdown on the elections. First, we have the primary elections. To get past the primaries, you need at least 10% of the student council or the student votes. So if you break that down to about 6,000 attendees, that is about 600 votes you need to pass the prelims. And now this is the second debate, the second debate will follow shortly after the first one. The final election will be held on the student council president is elected. And when the rundown of the student council student council elections.
All right, thank you, Dito. So, this is going to be a monumental election this year, and we here at THNN will be there, keeping you up to date with the newest news about what is going on. So, since the election started today, I thought it would be good to focus on, of course, the primary elections, Dito. So, what is interesting about the primary elections is that anybody can run for student council president or any position on the student council. So the primary's main objective is to kind of weed out those people who would only get 1 or 2 votes to get our stronger competitors out. Like you said earlier, here at Takafuji High School, we are 6,000 students strong. So to get 10% of the votes, you have to have at least 600 votes. More than 600 votes is always good. So, not everybody is going to make it through this round, and it's a very vital round. I have seen in past years, Jito, strong opponents not being able to get the 600 votes and not becoming student council president. So, make sure you don't count out this as just a gimme for some people. So, let's head on for news about frontrunners in student council president. So, first we have Shinonome Satsuki. She has posted her manifesto on the website. Remember, we said in our last episode that she was talking about this controversial issue about cutting student clubs that did not have any achievements or were wasting school money right there. She also now has added that she's suggesting that Takafuji High get rid of the also controversial financial aid program. So what do you think about this, Tito?
Well, before I get into that, there's a second part I'd like to point out about Shiranome's approval rating is dropped to under 10% due to the club disbanding stance.
That is also interesting. Do you think that's going to play a vital role in this election race? Because 10% is actually a pretty large amount of student population right there.
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to harm her chances.
That's interesting. She does still have the backing of the Finance Commission, which is a pretty, influential group. So she might make it through. But so, what do you feel? How do you feel about the second part about this manifesto that she put out about getting rid of the financial aid program? We already know that the financial aid program has been under scrutiny from our current president right now, who apparently has failed to deliver a plan to get us out of this crisis.
To be honest, I really think it's too early to tell. The race is still really young right now, and I'm pretty confident that she will make it through the prelims pretty easily. Even especially with the backing of the financial committee.
Yes. Well, so the people might get the wrong idea if she cuts the financial aid program entirely. Does she have a plan to replace it, or is this one way we're just going to get rid of that entirely and get fewer students to come in?
No, it's not that she wants to eliminate it. She wants to replace it with a scholarship program.
Scholarship program. So kind of explain to me what would happen if it was only a scholarship program.
That would mean they would take a selected handful of students that would be allowed to attend Takafuji High.
That sounds really unfortunate, Dito, as I do have a few classmates that are on the financial aid program, and they would not ever have a chance to come and attend Takafuji High School if there was no financial aid program. But we here at THNN will keep you guys up to date about what's happening in the situation. Now, we talked about this underdog, and he seems to be making more news. His name again is Kawajima Yuki. Tell us what you know about him, Dito.
Well, actually, KT, it's Oshima Yuki.
Oh,
Oshima.
Oshima. I don't know why I can never get his name right. I
He's emphasizing it. He's emphasizing the P's.
that's interesting. So I've heard some rumors kind of brewing around him. Can you kind of put some light onto that, and if they are true or not?
Well, even if they aren't official in the race of the Public Affairs Commission, I could give a good advice about the food club.
Well, so we also so kind of explain to the readers why the Public Affairs Commission cannot run in this election.
Well, uh, well, I couldn't really give you one way or another, but don't get me wrong about this. It won't be a walk in the park for the food club, considering that Oshima is independent. So that means he has to fund all his campaigns and everything like through their own pockets. But at the same time, too, they can't use club funds, so they're gonna have to pull like fundraisers.
This is going to be interesting because, especially considering that her opponent is from the Finance Commission, if they do misappropriate funds, she's going to catch it really quickly, and that's going to cut down to it. There also seems to be from this independent Oshima that there seems to be, since his stand is to kind of keep the clubs around, he seems to be there seems to be an underground following of other clubs around this. Can you comment on this?
Um, I can only speculate that he's going to try to get their backing on this and seeing if that he can like rally all the clubs that are being targeted from losing funds or even being cut completely to back him in order to like boost his own popularity.
This is really, of all the years I've been here at THNN, I have not seen an independent draw this much news and hype around it. So this is going to be an interesting year, and of course, we here at THNN are going to keep up the news, and we will let you know what happens to this independent and all our other incumbents. So before we end tonight, we need to go to Morishita-san, and she's reporting about the students' excitement about the presidential election. So Morishita-san.
普通
Thank you, Morishita-san. Well, Dito, Morishita-san, I want to thank both of you for being here. It is always a great THNN, and we're excited next week. We will be reporting from the bazaar, and we will see how that turns out. Until next time, everybody, good night. And that also ends the episode of Kita Anime Podcast. Remember, if you have feedback, especially on how bad we're news reporters, please send it to kita at ktdata.net. Also, check out ktdata.com for reviews, including this beauty that's going to be up there pretty soon.
Calm.
I also have a zombie side that's sitting there staring at me. That will be up soon, too. Dito, do you have anything coming in so far, or have you pushed everything to next month?
Everything is coming in probably end of the month. It's I'm not exactly sure just yet. Do check out. I did post up a review about Persona 4 Arena for the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Persona.
Persona. I said Persona 3. I said Persona 4 Arena. My bad. Sorry.
I know this guy who has Persona 4 glasses, and like, it's the bee's knees.
Oh yeah, that guy with the Persona 4 glasses. Oh, who is he again?
I don't know, but if you see him,
I don't.
yeah,
I don't know.
If you guys know who we're talking about, let us know. Of course, we're always streaming live. Usually we're late. Can't say I'm the most punctual of
Always.
people. But make sure you check us out 2 weeks from now. What's 2 weeks from now, Tito?
Let's see. 2 weeks from now is going to be August 28th.
August 28th, sometime in the afternoon/evening. But you can go to ktdata.net.
Late afternoon.
ktdata.net/live. We will be there eventually, and other than that, Dito. Oh, we have an announcement. Our Facebook page now has its new URL. It's facebook.com/KT DataNet, right?
Reviews. Ktdata net reviews.
The URL?
The URL is going to be ktdata.net. Yeah.
KT DataNet.
Yeah.
You'll find us
So
there.
it's-
Dito's super active there. I post things from time to time, usually on how much I hate Dito. Um, that's also where you'll get
Yeah.
the links to watching the episodes before before we talk about every Kita anime podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Pinterest. It's KT Data or KT Data Net. And other than that, Dito, do you have anything else to say?
Nope. Well, I could, but
Anyways, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks, and Palazzo Sama.
you really had way too much fun with that.
I love my Renon, alright?
Just a little too much.
Fiend! Gone wild! Ah!
Just him.
Shall we begin, Dito?
No, we need KT to go more wild.
If I go any more wild, I'm gonna have to start taking off clothes.
Well, there you have it. You almost got it, guys. Come on. Cheer him on. Get KT naked.
More beads!
Let's go.
More beads!